Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Fargo's joining the search for a COVID-19 vaccine. More than 160 vaccines are in the development around the world, but only a handful are in phase 3, ready for large-scale testing.
Here in Fargo, Lillistal Research is taking part in one of those trials, and they're looking for volunteers. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly explains what these trials look like and how to get involved.
Lillistal Research in Fargo is looking for a few hundred volunteers in the next 8 weeks to take part in a COVID-19 vaccine trial.
So we're coming in at phase 3, which is the phase just before a drug or vaccine can get approved from the FDA.
Roughly 30,000 patients across the country will be asked to take part in the large-scale trial.
Before anything can come to market, before we can actually have an effective vaccine for this, we have to make sure that we can go through these large-scale trials to determine if they're safe and effective. And we all know COVID has impacted everybody's lives in some way. And if this is the key to get back to normal, we definitely want to be a part of that.
If you are ready to roll up your sleeve, you have to be between the ages of 18 and 85. You can have underlying conditions, but cannot be pregnant or plan to become pregnant. Also, you cannot have tested positive for COVID-19 previously.
With vaccines, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about, are they safe? Are they effective? Can you get...
Fargo's joining the search for a COVID-19 vaccine. More than 160 vaccines are in the development.
From getting the vaccine. Basically what we're trying to determine is the vaccine safe and is it effective?
The trial is going to take some time, 2 years with a total of 6 in-office visits. Patients receive 2 injections about a month apart and then are monitored to see if they contract the virus through the community. Brown says this is a chance for people to make a difference during the pandemic. In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
You will get paid to be part of this trial, and if you'd like to get involved, you can go to Lillistal's website, or you can call them. The phone number's on your screen now, 701-232-7705. We have more information on our VNL News app.
Fargo Public Schools has decided to only allow essential staff with limited attendance at all athletic events through the fall season. It's an attempt to curb the spread of COVID-19. Varsity football, girls swimming and diving, boys soccer and volleyball will be required to have a voucher to be able to purchase a ticket or to use a pass at a contest. Capacity restrictions will be determined by the ND Smart Restart guidelines, and those restrictions will determine the number of vouchers. Vouchers will be distributed to rostered players on both the home and visiting teams. Non-ticketed events include sports like cross country, tennis, and golf. Fargo Public Schools is asking spectators to be limited to no more than 2 people per athlete. Spectators are asked to socially distance and leave immediately following the conclusion of their athlete's event.
UND students with COVID-19 are being isolated at hotels. Now, these hotels have contracts with the school to provide that service. There are 38 such active cases at the University of North Dakota. Staff and faculty members with the virus are isolating at home. The university will also be having COVID-19 testing events this week. They'll be open K through 12 and UND faculty and staff from August 19th through the 21st. Testing will be open only for UND students on the 23rd. You can find testing times on our website, valleynewslive.com.
Minnesota is reporting another 567 confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 6 new deaths linked to the illness. All total, 1,712 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 60 new cases. The daily positivity rate is now at 2.2%. There is 1 new death, and that death toll now sits at 126.
Police in Moorhead have yet to release body camera video of an arrest made this weekend, but they say they will. There have been more than 2,000 views of a video posted to Facebook over the weekend by local Black Lives Matter activist Faith Dixon. Dixon was upset after being picked up for speeding and with the way that the stop was conducted. She says she has since filed a formal complaint against one of the officers involved. Dixon claimed one of the officers tried to open her door, had his hand on his gun, and that she feared for her life. In response, Moorhead police explained that Dixon was pulled over on 8th Street for driving 44 in a 30 mile per hour zone and says that Dixon was argumentative. Dixon was cited for speeding.
A Grafton police officer remains hospitalized tonight after being shot in the chest over the weekend. Last word we had was that Officer Lucas Campoverde was in stable condition at the Grand Forks Hospital. Authorities say he was shot by Ruben J. Cruz in the Grafton shootout. Police were trying to apprehend Cruz on an outstanding federal warrant. While Cruz was running away, he fired several shots at law enforcement, hitting the officer. Cruz was wounded as well and is recovering from gunshot wounds.
North Dakota students are sharing their stories of racism on a social media page that has dozens of submissions with hundreds of likes in less than 3 weeks. The page is called Racism in ND Schools. Students anonymously share their experiences by giving their school and graduation year. There are accounts of students using the N-word, anti-Semitism, and mocking Native Americans. Not all the racism comes from whites. Some students talked about the prejudices that they experienced from other ethnicities.
The fact that they were being revealed didn't surprise me at all. I think the situation has been that people, like you've talked about, have been perhaps too frightened and to come forward and tell their stories.
We reached out to several of the local school districts. Fargo responded, saying it takes student concerns seriously and discrimination is not accepted. The other districts either didn't respond or plan to issue a statement tomorrow.
Warnings were sent out last week to 46 states, including North Dakota, by the Postal Service, saying there's a risk ballots will not arrive in time to be counted. States anticipate higher mail-in volumes due to the pandemic, and the USPS says the deadlines many states have set for sending ballots are agreeable with mail service. North Dakota Election Director Brian Newby says volume should not impact timeliness.
This is nothing new. The service intervals that the USPS have for all states and across the country are the same now as they've been for years and years and years.
A USPS spokesperson released a statement saying it's not slowing down any mail, but reminds people to be mindful of timing when they send in their ballots.
An NDSU senior says he's hoping to reduce the amount of drunk driving among college students this year, rolling out his new ride share called the Boozy Bus for the first time this weekend. Xavier Bonner says he was tired of seeing fellow friends and classmates making bad choices on the weekends, and he wants to help keep Fargo roads safe. He hopes to include other local college students soon.
My whole goal with this is to expand to every university so that we can stop the drinking and driving for all college-age students. So most of the money will go into investing into more vans.
Bonner says the 12-person bus runs on a constant cycle through the main hotspots of NDSU's campus. He says the bus will be back at any one spot on the route every 20 to 30 minutes, with rides varying from $3 to $5 per person.